This episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And you ever want to go to Walt Disney World? You say, "Hun, let's go to Walt Disney World." But then you realize, man, I'm lazy. I don't want to book this myself. Who wants to take care of that kind of stuff? That's where MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can step in for you and help plan your trip for you. They can book your hotel reservations, make your ADRs, and do everything for you so that you can make your trip all about having fun at Walt Disney World. Give them a try by going to www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2008, and this is episode 421 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Mike Scopa of allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Smoking is only allowed in the back of the theater.
Oh. It's good to be a bug? Tough to be a bug?
Nope.
Damn.
Smoking is only allowed in the back of the theater?
Yes.
I give up. What is it?
Phantasmic.
What?
What?
Is it like a spiel?
Just before it starts, yep.
All right. Anyway, also on
Oh, good God.
also on the show today, we have temporarily in New York because trips to Florida are just pretty much a constant thing for Mike. It's Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Good evening.
I think I'm going to call New York my summer home.
It's the place you spend Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And making Annette's life easier because of Mike Newell. It's Annette Owens of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Hi, Annette.
Hi, I didn't follow that at all.
I was just making Annette's
He
life
books all these
easier.
trips, so
Oh, jeez. So Annette can retire early. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think all of us are at our summer homes now because we're all back home and it's cooler in Florida. I don't know.
Well, it's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions, and we're going to start off with a question from Eric Stapleton of Asheville, Ohio. I'd say, guys, I've just listened to a few hundred episodes and learned something every time. I'm pretty sure I've learned something from Lou's show, too, but the time that it's finally over, I've forgotten it.
Who?
Anyway, I'm wondering if you could help me out with a logistical issue. Let's say you're staying at one of the Boardwalk resorts. I know you can easily go to Epcot by boat or walking. You could then catch the monorail to Magic Kingdom. But how early do they start running? I like to be able to catch the morning extra magic hours at the Magic Kingdom, but I'm not sure if the monorail picks up at Epcot that early, meaning like, say, 7:30 a.m. or so. Thanks for the help. You guys cracked me up.
I think that the monorail starts working at least an hour to maybe 90 minutes before the Magic Kingdom opens its gates.
Yeah, the problem is going to be for you to get from Epcot to, because Epcot's closed at that point, so you can't walk through the park to get to the front gate.
Right.
What the other solution is, there'll be a bus from your resort, because obviously from one of the Boardwalk resorts, they have to provide a bus to the Magic Kingdom. That's one of the two parks that they do provide bus service for. It's probably your best option. I'm not sure you're going to be able to take the monorail that early in the morning. So I would plan on the bus, and if by some freak chance you can get around it, or they have a bus going to the front of Epcot or something like that, go for it. Of course, if you have your own car, this wouldn't be an issue. Then you can go to Epcot really early and go and take the monorail from that. Next email is from John Sobel, who writes, Mongello, Matt, Mike, and Len, and to the random special guest of the week, if this is applicable.
Thank you.
I'm going to Walt Disney World
Applicable.
Thanks, Kramer. I'm going to Walt Disney World from October 24th through October 29th for the Mouse Guest Experience. And before everything starts, I have Saturday to visit the studios. My family consists of myself, my wife, and my two kids, ages 12 and 4, and my in-laws. We have an ADR for 50's Primetime Cafe at 1:30 p.m. and plan to leave around 2:30 to head to the Magic Kingdom for the start of the Mouse Guest Experience. With this group, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster is out, but we do want to do Playhouse Disney live on stage for the 4-year-old. I would also like to view the Muppets Star Tours, the Great Movie Ride, experience the new Toy Story Mania. While I'm pretty sure that all these can be done in the time allocated to me, I was hoping for an easy plan to do all without running from place to place. Any help you can give me will be greatly appreciated. Well, John, obviously you need to get to the studios for park opening. I think that goes without saying. I would go with Toy Story Mania first. Just ride that. Don't even bother with the Fast Pass. Unless you're thinking maybe your group is going to want to re-ride it, in which case a good strategy is to get a Fast Pass for it, then ride it, and then you can come back and ride it again. So that would give you a grand total of 3 rides, and you probably have minimal waits, assuming it doesn't break down or anything like that. In terms of the other attractions, Playhouse Disney Live on Stage, you're going to try to want a gun for that first show. It's usually about 9:45 in the morning, so if you ride Toy Story even twice, you should have a decent chance of being able to get over there. Just watch your time after the first ride, and if it's closer to about 9:30 when you get out of there, go for Playhouse Disney. The other attractions they wanted to do was Muppets and Star Tours. You can do those almost any time, and the Great Movie Ride. So I would do Toy Story, Playhouse Disney, Great Movie Ride, Star Tours, Muppets, and you're done. I don't think you'll have any problem with that. Next email's from John from Bolton, England, who writes, "Hi, everybody. My wife, 8-year-old daughter, and I are hopping across the pond in July for a total of 16 nights.
Wow.
Having built-in rest days, we have 10 days in the parks, but the hot July weather and common sense mean that most of the days we plan to arrive at the parks early and leave at lunchtime for around 5 to 6 hours, and then return to the park later in the day. I have built my ADRs around this. We're staying off-site, so my question is, can you give me some suggestions for chilling out or napping without the need for leaving the world or returning to our hotel? Is the beach around 17 Lagoon solely for resort guests? I'm looking for some ideal spots for us to get out of the heat and out of the lines and sit or lie somewhere to read, recharge, and perhaps even let our daughter take a nap. Perhaps a suggestion or two for taking a break from each of the 4 parks if you have time. Thanks in advance for your help. Can't get involved in the live shows because of the time difference, but the podcasts are first class. Thank you so much."
Who's to say you could not go, resort hopping and spend a little time in the lobbies? I mean, the Wilderness Lodge is a very nice lobby. The Grand Floridian is that lobby is so big you could just get lost in there. Find a nice, comfortable couch, sit down, and let your daughter take a nice little nap, and you could take one too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That wouldn't be a problem. I mean, I've seen people napping on those couches, and Disney's certainly not going to kick you out of there. Maybe if you were there for like 8 hours, but that wouldn't be a problem at all to just sit in the resorts. If you wanted to use the beach, that's not going to get you out of the heat, though. I mean, you're just going to be, if anything, you're going to be languishing in it, and you're going to want to shower, and you can't because you're not at your hotel. But you can do a lot of things in the resorts. I mean, they really, there's a lot of resorts activities. A lot of them are indoors. I know that at Animal Kingdom Lodge and Wilderness Lodge, they have tours. They have activities for kids. And certainly those are open to almost anybody to go there. They're usually only advertised to the resort guests of that resort. But if you know about them, you can go participate in them. So I've gone to, if you really want to go to the beach, I've been to Wilderness Lodge and I've gone to the beach. I've just laid it down. I haven't been staying there. I just happened to be over there, and you can do that. Maybe renting a boat for the afternoon might not be a bad idea for you. Newell, any other suggestions on beating the heat without going back to the resort?
I'm going to go with Annette and say, hop in and see Ellen's Energy Adventure. It's 45 minutes of all the air conditioning you can get.
That's right. You can do the air conditioning tour of in each of the parks. I mean, there's certainly a number of attractions that have minimal waits usually and have a lot of air conditioning, like Ellen's Energy Adventure, like you mentioned, Mike.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
you
Mike.
can also spread out and take a nap on one of those long, long rows if you happen to be fortunate enough to get in a row where there's not too many people.
If a couple of your friends have made you eat for 2.5 hours. And
That's
then
right.
You
That's
need
right.
a place to sleep. Thanks, guys.
Next email is from Chris, who writes, "Matt, Mike, and Len, I recently visited Walt Disney World, and my wife and I joked about you guys the entire time. Too bad the hydrolators are gone. That's always a fun topic to laugh about. First, I wanted to say, where has Dole Whip been all of my life? Words cannot express the soothe, silky, censored, of Dole Whip.
What?
Of course, amidst the Olu chorus, I hear Mike occasionally extol the greatness that is Dole Whip, but I never experienced it for myself until this last trip. Now I'm hooked. Do you guys know where to get some outside of Walt Disney World, or have any recipes for replicating it in my own kitchen?" I think Mike Newell has.
Mike.
Well, basically, I mean, Mike, you found a place online where you can buy the mix to make it, right?
Yeah, well, I'll put it in the show notes. We found it. We bought it a couple of years ago. We bought it, and it was really good. Now, keep in mind, I'm not that big of a Dole Whip aficionado, but we went what was it, Mike? When we went, not this last trip, the trip before, we asked for Dole Whip, but you got to be specific if you want the pineapple Dole Whip.
That's
Very
right.
true.
You have to be. Yes, you have to be very specific.
Right. They gave us vanilla Dole Whip, which was quite good on its own, but it wasn't,
I won't
pineapple
mention
Dole
who ordered it.
I won't say who ordered it, too.
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Oh, Lancaster.
But yeah, you have to be specific if you want the pineapple Dole Whip. I think they also have chocolate Dole Whip there, too.
Chocolate and
But
pineapple.
the vanilla was quite good, though, Mike, I thought.
Well, yeah, after 4 parks in one day and you're dying of thirst, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Chris goes on to write, second, having lost 75 pounds, healthy lifestyle and eating is something that's near and dear to me. I read recently a couple of people bashing Disney for unhealthy food choices, and I thought I'd pay attention to healthy alternatives this trip and started chronicling my observations. And he put a link to his website, and I'll put a link in that in the show notes. And as part of my article, I wrote Disney asking for nutrition, particularly calorie information, and was, of course, denied. Do you guys know of any sources of nutrition info for food served at Disney? They did send some info, which after doing some weight conversions and comparisons to generic food led me to this conclusion. One turkey leg has over 1,400 calories. That is one fat turkey. I don't think the turkey's fat. I think it's like cooked in this like salty oil thing that makes it taste really good. But, of course, the better it tastes, the worse it is for you, of course.
That's usually true.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it when I'm there.
That's a good point. And, of course, when you're at Disney World, I mean, you can magically walk off as many calories as you consume, right?
That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's scientifically proven. Chris also has one more question. It's an airline question. A friend turned me on to Allegiant Air, which would fly nonstop out of Greenville, South Carolina, 1 hour from my house, to Orlando, Sanford. I see they also have a nonstop flight out of Greensboro, which should tickle Len's fancy. Their one-way prices seem to hover around $59. Has anyone flown this airline? How easy is it to get from Disney to Disney from the Sanford airport? Annette, have you ever flown out of Greenville?
No.
On Allegiant?
No, not in Greensboro either. I believe Len has, though, because it's right there in his back door.
Isn't Allegiant the one that flies to direct to Allentown, Pennsylvania? I remember Steve Barrett took that flight for Magic Meets one year, and it was just ridiculous because there's a direct flight from Orlando to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I can answer the second question though. How easy is it to get to Disney from Sanford? Sanford's a solid hour away on Highway 4, which means there's probably more than that because there's traffic over there. You could take car service or some sort of other transportation. Obviously, Annette, there's no Magical Express at Sanford, correct?
There's no Magical Express, and it does cost more for town car services that we typically use from Orlando. It's going to cost more from Sanford.
Yeah, so I think although you're saving a lot, $59 is a great fare. Just compare it to where something that flies into MCO, because you may find yourself actually paying more in the long run in terms of getting from Sanford to Walt Disney World versus taking, say, Magical Express, which is free, and going to Disney that way. Next email is from Wayne and Donna Bird from Walnut, Mississippi. Don't blink when driving through. Easier to find since we got our first red light. And they write, hi, Walt Disney World guys. It's Donna and Wayne again, and we're going to visit the world in September, and will be exactly 2 years since our last visit. Can y'all provide us a list of what's new and what's been updated since September 2006, Spaceship Earth, and so on? And also, anything that will be down for updates in September?
Matt, I might be able to help her on this. I know that the WaltDisneyWorld.com site used to have a feature where you could plug in your last visit,
right,
and then they would take that and they would go to some kind of a calendar, and they would be able to generate everything that's new since then. I think it's still there, but I think they've adjusted it so that you can go and they will ask you when your last trip was, but I think you're limited to limited to a year, like 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. And when you plug it in, a window pops up, and they will have in that window small icons, and each icon will describe a restaurant, an attraction, anything that's been adjusted over the last several years. So I mean, that's probably the closest she could get to seeing exactly what's new since their last visit.
Yeah, some attractions that just come to mind. You've got Toy Story Mania. You've got Spaceship Earth, as she mentioned. You've got the Haunted Mansion rehab that went down. You have the new ride in Mexico. Those are just some that just popped into my head. But that's a good point, Mike. You can go over there and check that out. And as for Wayne and Donna's second question about what's going down in September, I'm actually going to put a link in the show notes to All Ears Net. They've got a great page there outlining what's going to be closed based on each month. You just click on September 2008 and bam, it pops up over there. But very quickly, I'm sorry, Mike Newell, Nine Dragons will be closed during September.
I know, I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, there's one of the pools at Caribbean Beach, and of course the North Garden Wing of the Contemporary is gone.
Yeah.
And the Concourse Steakhouse has been closed for good to reopen is the way. Nothing major. It's not like Pirates of the Caribbean is closed or something, major. But I'll put the link in the show notes so you can keep track of that as your trip approaches.
They couldn't rehab the Joy of Tea stand. They had to rehab Nine Dragons over in China.
Life's not fair, Mike.
No, it's not.
Peach tea.
Leave the tea stand alone.
Next question is from Julie, who writes, "Hello, I have a few questions regarding the Pirate and Princess Party. My family and I have been to Disney World 100 and plus and more times, in fact, and we're big fans and never have anything negative to say about the company. We just returned from a trip, and we're very disappointed with the Pirate and Princess Party event that took place. I have been to the party before, and I didn't recommend it. However, my family has yet to try it. We waited for over an hour for the Magic Kingdom bus that never came, and Disney gave us 3 fast passes to use the next day. Big deal. Then we got to the Magic Kingdom, and it rained big time for the entire party. They didn't hand out the party bags that you get because the cast members say they bleed onto clothes, and instead, they handed out beads, Easter egg decals, and stickers. To top the night, the park map never listed the parade time and the fireworks. In past experience, they always list the time for these events on park maps and not on separate pieces of paper. I figured they do this because it's raining and they can't have a set time to set up the fireworks and the parade. Anyway, just let's say that I will never attend a party when it's raining because it's not worth the extra money." Well, I can sympathize with them a little bit. What do you think, Mike?
Well, which Mike?
You.
I as far as the Princess and Pirate Party goes, I still think that that's a work in progress. I think that they still have a ways to go before they hit the target. I think that there's history there with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I mean, it's come a long way over the last 3 to 4 years, and I think the same thing's going on with Pirate and Princess. Now, the thing about the rain, I mean, if you buy your ticket in advance, there's no refund. On the day of the party, I mean, that's one more thing, and I agree. If it's raining, you don't go to a party. It's just a waste of money. I think that the other thing that everyone should always keep in mind is that when they intend to go on any of the parties, the separate admission ticket parties down there, they should think about going into City Hall the day before and getting a brochure so they know before they go in the next day, before they go into the party, they have an idea as to what's there, the timetables for the fireworks, the parades, and everything, rather than try to figure it out while the party's going on, because it can get really frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking at this, with the rain, there's no control over that. I mean, certainly if you book your tickets, in advance, like Mike mentioned, I mean, just that's how it goes. It doesn't matter where you would have been, regardless if it's a hard ticket party or any of the parks. It stinks when it rains. That's the bottom line. It's just, it's something you either have to say, okay, I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to be in the park, or you're going to say, okay, we're going to head back to our resort and do something else. And the rain doesn't help. I understand that. It stinks. And, I really sympathize with you because you plan this whole trip. You get down there. You got all this energy. You really want to have a great time. And the rain it sounds like the rain really ruined a lot of it. Unfortunately, Disney doesn't have any control over the rain. So, it's frustrating. I can understand that. A lot of what happened, I think, though, is just, it's one of those bad circumstances. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the party, I do think that your experience is not typical. And I think that if you instead, for the next Pirate Princess Party, if you didn't buy your tickets in advance, because you rarely ever have to buy them in advance because the parties never really sell out unless you're. No. I mean, I know you get a discount on it, but it might be worth it for you based on your prior experience to just wait on it and just try it again on a day that you're going to have better weather and you might get a better experience for you overall. And by the way, I was just going to mention, regardless of rain, they do shoot off the fireworks because it doesn't matter. The fireworks go off one way or the other. Go ahead, Mike.
Now, I was just going to say, you would think that because this is a separate admission ticket and because it's so expensive, that if it does in fact rain and hard enough so that the parade floats just would not be able to negotiate, the parade route, and sometimes that's the case.
Yep.
And if it happens to be a night where there's thunder and, it's a really bad storm, and if they do, and you're right, Matt, they very rarely will cancel the fireworks, but it makes you wonder if, A, the parade had to be canceled, and B, the fireworks would be canceled. It's almost justifiable that, you could go to guest services and say, I think I'd like a refund because of the weather. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's something on the ticket that says,
I'm sure
Tough
legally,
situation.
yeah, it's a tough situation. I'm sure legally they would have. I mean, Disney could just say no. There's no refunds. It's we don't have control over the weather. I think in a case like you mentioned, Mike, no parade canceled, fireworks canceled because again, like you mentioned, a terrible thing. I could see that. I think Disney would take some sort of pity and maybe they'll offer you, as opposed to refund, tickets for another night. And
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I have heard things of like that happening before. So I'm sorry it happened that way, but like I said, I don't think it's.
You lose. Good day, sir.
There you go. Mike Newell has no sympathy for anybody. Next email's from Elise, who writes, "Hi, I love your show. We're planning a trip to Disney World and not sure if we should book the first week in December or the second. The first week is not listed on the Disney website as being a wonderful week of Disney, lighter crowds. Do you know if the crowds would be any different for either week? Also, is it too cold for us to swim?"
Oh, man. Wish Len was here, but I think he would echo these thoughts. I think he would say that the first week in December would be the better of the two because it's the first week after Thanksgiving. And a lot of people would have gone down and now they're heading back to do all their Christmas shopping and things like that. So that first week is probably better than the second week because the second week brings in the Pop Warner people, brings in Mouse Fest, brings in a few other large groups. So my vote would be for that first week.
Totally agree with you, Mike. There, I think that the deeper you get into December, the bigger the crowds. The first, second week of December it's not bad at all. But if you're going purely based on crowds, I would go for the first week. If Mouse Fest is important to you, like Mike mentioned, because that is happening during the second week in December, and maybe you are interested in meeting us or someone else from the Disney Internet community, that'd be a great opportunity for you to go then, because the crowds are still pretty light, relatively speaking, but they're not. It's not going to be as good probably as the week before.
On the swimming? Well, they had asked about swimming.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Swim?
Good point.
Been down that time for 5-6 years now straight. Some years you can. Some years it's really cold. And you still will see kids.
Yeah, you know what? All the pools are heated at Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. So you never have to worry about the water being cold. The fact is when you get out of the water, then you're in a different situation.
Right. You need heated blankets sometime.
Yeah, I've gone swimming when it's very cold. I mean, you can see steam coming out of the pool. And when you're in the pool, you're fine. But then you've got to, before you get out, you got to come out with your exit strategy and, try to get, from back to your room as fast as humanly possible.
You might want to ask for a preferred room then, huh? One by the pool if you're planning on going swimming.
Exactly. Next email is from Rick, who writes, "Hey guys, how's it going? I've been with the show since the beginning, even through episode number 72, and want to know that I really appreciate the time and effort that goes into your podcasts. I've been a newspaper photographer for 35 years, so I have a couple of comments based on recent episodes. Regarding blurred motion pictures on the teacups, I'll agree with the listener who recommended a slow shutter speed, 1/15th or 1/30th of a second, and a little fill flash. I have some great pics of my wife from our honeymoon in 1975, as well as later than on with our teenagers. Just shoot a lot, and then you'll get what you want. For camera bags, I'll go with the Domke bags if you can find them. For work, I usually carry around enough equipment to invade a small country. They hold a lot of stuff and fold flat, and if needed, they do come in several sizes, and they do work great. Now, I realize a couple of you may think that rock and roll began with Van Halen, but I was surprised by your uncertainty about the great Canadian rock band, the Guess Who. You may want to study up your reading listening to my column blog podcast entitled Lost in the 60s. Maybe you'll include a link in your show notes. I certainly will. I've plugged your podcast a couple of times. Hint, hint. I think we owe it to Rick to do that. Keep up the great work. I've frequented all of your websites and buy the unofficial guide. Go ahead. There you go. Thank you. Every year. Yes, Mike.
Is 1960s, 1860s, 1760s? I need to know. I get.
I'm sorry. 1960s. Gotta clarify that.
1960s. Okay.
Excellent. Next email's from Crystal Johnson of Plymouth, Minnesota. Where hi everyone. I just purchased an annual pass. I was wondering if I can reserve 2 rooms at a moderate hotel for a family of 7. I read somewhere they can only reserve 1 room with an annual pass. I'm hoping to get an annual pass room discount when it becomes available. Thanks. I love listening to your shows. Annette?
I think you can, right?
Yes, you can. Can't you?
Yeah. It used to be 3. I think it used to be 3, but now it's 2. I think.
Yeah. I don't think you have a problem with 2 rooms. Not a problem at all.
You want grandma and grandpa to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next email is from Nicole from Brooklyn, Connecticut, that is. Hi, guys. Here's my question. I won't be going back to the world until January of 2010, but here it is anyway. My family of 12 will be going, and we are going to be staying at the Beach Club or the Beach Club Villas. My question is this. Would it be better for me to buy 1 annual pass because 2 of the rooms we are going will be under my name? I wanted to know if it's worth it to spend the extra money. Also, we'll be going to the Wide World of Sports as well as maybe Downtown Disney. Is it better to just pay for those when I get there or get the deluxe annual pass? The rest of our party will be getting the Park Hopper Plus. There will be 9 adults and 3 children under 11. We'll be going for about 8 days and want to have a great time without breaking the bank. Thanks.
Why would she need a premium annual pass? Why would she need that?
She's thinking of going to Wide World of Sports at Downtown Disney. I think if she means Pleasure Island at Downtown Disney, then that might be a point, but not stores at Downtown Disney.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think, Scopa?
Well, I'm all for getting the annual pass because she will get a decent discount off the rack rates for the hotel room.
I agree.
And then we always talk about the Disney dining experience. Although family of 12, she's only going to be able to cover. Well, depends upon the cast member, but it would be worth getting the Disney dining experience as well. Again, I don't know if the premium annual pass is worth it. I'd stick with the regular, and anything that would be not covered by the annual pass, I'm guessing you would be looking at a possible discount anyways, just by flashing your annual pass. So
I agree. I think the real value in the premium annual pass is the fact that you go to the water parks, and if you're not going to the water parks, it's not really worth it. I think you just pay out of pocket, and you do get. Mike is right. Even if you do end up going to a water park or any of those other items with an annual pass, you do get an additional discount.
Yeah.
Next email is from Ken from Hudson, New Hampshire, close to Mike, who writes, from the show on March 12th, George asked about Disney-related books you like to read. It's a fictional novel, but have either of you ever read Kingdom Keepers by Ridley Pearson? Scopa, didn't you read that book?
Carol has read. She consumes books. She read that, and that was funny because as she was reading it, she was pointing out some, I guess I'd say some errors in there. As you read the books, you say, well, when you come out of the castle, when you come out of here, and you turn right, do you usually see this, you usually see that? So I know that there are some errors in the book, but it's all in good fun, I guess. So
right. Ken writes, it's really geared towards children, but I loved it. I'm 40 years old. My 2 sons turned me on to it. I saw it 2 years ago in the Villain Shop at the studios, but it's available pretty much anywhere else. There's some cool Imagineering references in it, and I think Jason Sorrell was an advisor to the author. By the way, I want to join the Matt Hide Your Eyes, It's Dinosaur fan club. I read the thing once and only once with my eyes closed. I just couldn't deal with it, and now my kids won't go on it. Good thing. See? Great minds. You know what I mean? You guys are awesome. I sometimes think that you are secretly employed by Disney World, as every time I listen to your show, I want to immediately book a trip. Shut up, Scopa. And a planning question, if you can. Have you heard any real rumors about a new redesigned pool for Fort Wilderness? I want to say there, but not with a pool like that.
I mean, I wonder if they mean near River Country.
No. I think Fort Wilderness does have a pool. I imagine it's, I guess, not up to Ken's standards. I had not heard any rumors about a pool rehab going on in Fort Wilderness. Have any of you?
Nope, nothing.
No.
All right. Well, that's it for us today. We should mention again that this episode of Walt Disney World Today has been sponsored by Mouse Fan Travel. So again, when you're wanting to book a trip, and why do all the work? Why go call all these numbers and ask if this place is open? Does this place have availability? Can I get an ADR for this time? No, I can't. How about this place? How about this place? Ugh. Who wants to do that? I want to go play Counter-Strike. I want to go watch something on TV. Jeopardy is on. Let someone at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel do all of the work for you. They can take care of it for you and make your trip that much easier. Give them a try. They're the official travel agency of WDW Today. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com. And if you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Ned Owens, I am Matt Hochberg, and we'll see you on our next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.